Shine, I'ma shine. I'm not one for wasting time. I'ma make that shit that gon' go have you wait and stand in line. Shine, you gon' shine. Don't you go and waste your time. I know you feeling down, but I know what you got deep inside. Shine, I'ma shine. Shine, I'ma shine. Shine, you gon' shine. Shine, I'ma shine. I'm not one for wasting time.
What up, what up? Welcome to Pain or Gain. My name is Dr. T.
Timo here.
Welcome back.
Happy Labor Day.
Yeah, happy Labor Day. Everyone, hope
real,
all
yeah.
y'all got the day off. And if you're not, hope you got time and a half at least. Or if you don't get time and a half, you should talk to someone about that because that's illegal.
yeah, definitely get your time and a half.
Yeah, get that looked at.
That's what's up.
Let's start with a couple things to start off with. We are going to be moving Pain or Gain to Tuesdays.
Yes, we are.
Chips Season 2 is going to be Thursday. This is all starting next week. And then we're eventually going to have some demo videos coming soon, as some things that we've already done, things that you guys want us to do. Go for it. We can get them out so we can cater a little bit more to what you guys want. But that's going to be in the future. We'll go over that a couple more times. But today we're going to go over some things, and we're going to go over the BSP fantasy draft teams and kind of give some injury stuff on that. This is Pain or Gain. But before we get to that, Timo, what have you been up to? What have we been doing?
Kind of the usual, you know. Everything's been kind of cool in the gym. One of my clients is actually moving to Fremont, so it was just like last workout with me on Thursday. But that was, you know, like a good farewell. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
So,
like, you're good enough.
Man, yeah, he's like, yeah, exactly. Because like even like to see where his growth is, and like he even said himself, like he doesn't know. He's not gonna stop. He's actually gonna just move and transfer over to another city sports and still do the training. He's like,
There you go.
yeah, he wanted to stay consistent with that. I was like, yeah, that's cool, man. I'm glad you wanted to continue with your fitness journey and stuff like that. So I was like, yeah, cool, good to know. I was like, if you ever need help, hit me up. If not, you can check me out on YouTube.
Yeah, good.
So, yeah.
Good connections with the good
Yeah,
connections.
for sure. How was your weekend?
It was good. I just came back this morning, actually, or this afternoon, I guess, whatever it is. From went to Monterey, had a wedding that we went to with a friend, Mr. Ace Hardware, the guy who was in the chat talking about Ace Hardware, Rice and I.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So his
Awesome.
wedding was
Sick.
this weekend. Went over there, danced to Mr. Brightside. Didn't sprain my ankle this time, so
Hey.
thankful for that.
There you go.
Yeah, it's gorgeous. It was nice to get out of the heat. We had the big old heat wave over here, so it was
Yeah,
kind of
today
nice
was 105, I think.
Yeah, so I was driving back in that, so at least I was in some AC for the car. But I think it was like 75 in Monterey, so it was kind of nice.
Chill.
Right nice,
Cool.
yeah, right nice by the beach. But that was a good time. Good time.
Yeah, how's the food?
Really good. I had clam chowder twice.
Ooh,
So
what?
good. There's a place,
That's
Old
nice.
Fisherman's. There's a bunch of like Fisherman Grottos restaurants. But oh crap, what is the one? There was one that we went to last time, actually, not this time. So I had two different clam chowders this time, but the one we went to last year around this time, I took a trip down there with my better half, and we went off to like a little vacay over there and had the best clam chowder bread bowl I've ever had in my entire
I
life.
love
And it
clam
was
chowder, actually.
it was the restaurant was like Old Fisherman's Grotto something. But anyways, all of them were good. It was
Yeah.
just trying to good,
Was it
better, best. You know, they're all
yeah.
good.
Well, I just know that there's one difference of like a Boston clam chowder. It's where they put bacon in it.
Yeah, no, this was New England, I believe.
Yeah, I don't.
In the sourdough bread bowl. Oh man, I
got it,
scrape
got
off
it.
the sides of it as soon as possible. Let it just marinate in the bread.
Yeah,
Oh, it's so good. But
Yeah, making me hungry.
yeah, man.
That's cool. That's what's up.
Yeah. You had any cool patient breakthroughs or any cool patient client things coming up?
Client breakthroughs. Well, no, actually, we did. I guess an assessment we did. One of my clients retested his body fat percentage, and he's at 20% now. So
All right.
yeah, he's almost like straight up to where he needs to be. But yeah, so that was probably a cool little breakthrough.
What is the aim for that? I'm assuming 18.
About 18. That's like, healthy. Anything, past that, or lower than that, I should say, is true fitness, and then an athlete, and then bodybuilder type of stuff.
I've been trying to remember. I was trying to remember. We normally have we just have like the supremely obese and the supremely skinny body percentages that we really got to know, because outside of that we really don't care.
Yeah, I think anything over
I want to say it's like 24.9 or something.
I think once
like,
you get into 25, once you get to 25,
then
it's
you
obese.
should start doing something about it.
Yeah. So, losing,
I think 32.9 or something, or 33.9 is, and above that is like dangerously. So,
but yeah, so I don't know where he started though. He because he's only been with me for so long, so he didn't know exactly where he started, but he said when he checked, he went 20, or he went from a higher number to down to 20. I was like, all right, cool,
that's good.
Sick.
That's
what's
good.
up. Let's get it. What about you guys?
Been good. A bunch of my patients that were on workman comp that I was trying to get, it just smelled fishy. I was like, this seems like more than it is. I got a couple more that actually like needed surgery and got the referrals, and
yeah, exactly.
I'd helped refer them out to certain doctors and stuff that I knew would be able to take care of them and stuff. And so I got a couple of those patients back.
Is this the patient that was in a wheelchair?
No, that's Wheels. Wheels is doing good though.
Oh yeah,
Wheels is doing good. We walk. I actually bust a sweat when I work with him now because we're walking.
Sick. Yeah,
so we walked about. We went from. I think our first visit, I was literally like, all right, let's just stand for however long we can. And that's probably maybe 4 weeks ago by now. Maybe more than that, but it's been around a month or so. And now we walk like 30 yards in a walker.
Oh, sick.
Yeah, dude, we were cruising.
So he's going.
Oh yeah, Wheels is killing it. I have to we start walking to a point, but I have to be in a weird position to help him push the walker and hold him up while we're doing stuff.
Yeah, definitely.
So by the time we're like, all right, we gotta take a break, and he kind of wants to go more. I'm like, no, you need to sit down because I'm sweating right now from pulling you on this thing. But Wheels is doing great. We've been.
I'm pretty sure a lot of your schooling also puts you in that position to know all the positions to be in when you're pulling correctly.
Yeah. A lot of it is learn on the fly, and how do you prefer to do it?
Okay.
So technically, there's a bunch of ways you're supposed to. It's more for sitting to standing. Is more of a there's a bunch of ways you should do it, and how you have to block the knees or if you do that. But once you get certain patients that are, so he's in a walker, and I have a belt on him that I strap on basically. It's called a gait belt that you put around, so it gives me something to hold on to.
Yep.
And so he has a specific tie to when he's in the walker. He doesn't really stand up straight, so we got to try to get him straight. But if we don't have pressure on the walker, he's going to pull it back to him. But it's more beneficial just to get him walking however we can anyway. So one hand, for me, my positioning with him is usually right hand on the walker, pushing down, left hand on his kind of belts.
Yeah.
Pulling up, and then I usually will kind of slip my knee down underneath in case he wants to sit down or something.
Yeah,
he has a weird, not really like a slip, but he starts to get what's called he has what's called clonus. Clonus and spasticity. So spasticity is when you try to straighten out a leg really quickly and it catches and it doesn't want you to do it. And that's usually a problem with a nerve lesion, so spinal cord injuries or things like that. And then clonus is specifically an upper motor neuron, which is brain damage or specifically spinal cord, not the muscular nerves that come out.
Gotcha.
And so what happens is if you have clonus with it, it'll just be you're shaking. So the problem with that is with your hand, it's okay. If it shakes like this, you can it's like a tremor. You can get away from it. Problem is he has it in his ankles and his knees.
Ooh.
So we'll be standing up for a point, and some of the ways, shaking. You have to fight through it, or sometimes you don't. So for him, more pressure actually helps out. That's not always the case from what I've seen specifically. I think technically it's supposed to help out with the pressure, but sometimes if patients think about it too much, it doesn't really work out that way. And so we actually have to stand him up, and he has to kind of fight through this for a little bit. So we just stand pat, and he just kind of goes through his shake. All right, we got to stop. And so if he has one of those episodes where potentially it could just be all right, I need to sit because I'm done, or my leg comes out underneath.
Yeah, just
so anyway, so I have my left knee is usually pretty right underneath his butt in case he falls back.
Yeah.
Sometimes I have a little extra help while I have like a tech or someone help
You're-
bring the wheelchair with him or something.
You're
behind
definitely
him.
like the ultimate spotter.
Yeah, basically.
Exactly. You know what I'm saying? Like,
It's
because
he could fall at any point, so let's just make sure he's like pretty thin. He's like maybe 120 or so, give or take. So
Yeah.
like you can kind of hold him up with the belt. Like you can make do
Yeah,
with
you're
it.
okay.
He doesn't take a super strong person to do that. So
yes, some of my bigger clients too, they can just, I'm not the biggest dude either, you know what I'm saying? So
Right.
they're kind of taller than me. I have one guy, he's like 6'4", and weighs more than me, obviously. But there's other position that his balance is off really. So when we kind of put weight to it, and just seeing how people kind of move, you always got to be ready to
yeah, just catch him.
find that moment.
And that's what it takes. So a lot of that's a lot of the like on the fly walking that I'm talking about is like each person's gonna have their own like special thing you got to do for him. So with Wheels, I gotta kind of make sure he doesn't just sit whenever he wants because he's really happy-go-lucky. So he's kind of like, well, no, it's just time to sit because I'm like done walking right now.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, we can't do that.
Oh,
But
got it.
anyways, yeah, he's been really good
That's what's
recently
up.
actually. Yeah, so
Good for Wheels.
Wheels has been good.
But yeah, we did have our fantasy football
We did.
draft. What was your first take of how your team came out?
I was happy with my team. I kind of went into it for starters, it's a 10-team league. We added a punter, to make it a little bit interesting, full PPR. I was in the beginning rounds. I was like, all right, since it's 10-man, there's a lot of guys that I can like. I was like, I just want to go with the best available that I think. And I tried to go for this one because of the amount of people in it. I went a little bit safer on the injury things.
Yeah.
Which is why I went receivers early. I think I picked 3 receivers and a tight end before I picked any of my running backs. I could be wrong if I
I think that makes sense though.
but I can't be Dr. T in here without trying to get the healthiest team out here. So
True. Do you have any players that have any type of injury?
I don't think so actually. I think there was I do have Chase Edmonds, and he has been banged up,
But-
like throughout. I think last year was banged up a little bit, but Leonard Fournette kind of had a hammy last year. He's probably
Yeah.
my biggest of.
biggest?
Let's hope something doesn't happen with him. I guess Josh Jacobs is kind of banged up, but I also look at it as like all the running backs are going to be a little banged up. So I'm
Yeah, I
it's-
stacked hella running backs.
yeah. So you get a bunch of them at the back end, but it's I was pretty happy with it. I was very very entertained. A lot of picks you didn't really expect all the time, but it was
Obviously, the biggest surprise was Saquon Barkley going number 3.
good. 2 or 3, yeah, whatever that was. Yeah, hey, you got a guy? Go get your guy, man.
Makes sense.
Go
for
get
sure.
your guy. So why don't we go through this? As we go through, I'm going to go down the teams. We could talk about some guys specifically if they have injuries or anything going on. We'll kind of give their team just an injury grade, and just gives you a way to like kind of introduce yourself, find whatever team you like, root for them, do whatever you got to do. There's going to be points where we can do add BSBs to things to where you can help control
Yeah,
the league,
which
You
is
can
really
do,
cool.
A bunch of things coming through, and I think we'll have that. We'll get the actual like what you can and can't do sorted out eventually, but find your team, root for them, and then you can tell us why your favorite team is my team afterwards.
Right side
That's
or
fine.
left side. Could also choose a side.
So
But yeah, first team on the list.
first team is what is it? Right side going down. All right.
Yep, right side going down.
Is
Which
that
is James Levine's team.
James Levine. Okay. So he went. We'll just go by his team, so we don't have to kind of predict where people drafted, because sometimes you won't really know.
No, yeah, exactly.
So he's got quarterback Derek Carr, running back Dalvin Cook, Travis Etienne at the other running back spot. He's got Jefferson and Bateman and Brown, and this is 1, 2, 3 with Brown in the flex. Andrews at tight ends, Commanders D, Greg Joseph, and then Cameron Johnston.
Cameron Johnston.
Cam Johnston. These punters are going to be fun. I'm
Yeah,
actually
I
super
want to
fun
see
about it.
I want to see how that all works out.
He's got a pretty top-heavy bench with a bunch of potential in the back end. Pierce, Dillon, plug-and-play running backs in there. Devontae Smith, plug-and-play receiver. And he's got a couple handcuffs. Rashad White, James Cook. Stevenson could take that starting spot over if he hasn't already. And then Tua as the fail-safe for Derek Carr. And then George Pickens, one of the funniest, maybe not funniest, one of the funnest stories. He's he was the guy who had the weird like ski cap thing on during the draft, and he had the whole like leaning forward as he was staring as he was drafted
Really?
at the TV. Yeah, the George Pickens Pickens gif is hilarious. I love it. Big fan of it.
Is he good?
He's like that dude. Apparently, he's got like a nasty side of him. There's viral videos of him going around and like basically pancaking people at receiver, of like just stepping heavily into people and pushing it back, and they'll do like the corners will like, get up and do like backflips and be like, "What the hell's going on, man?" Because they're like, obviously it's a preseason game, so maybe they probably do care actually, because I mean they're trying to get a spot. But yeah, he's just pushing around people. He's really fun. He's a really fun player to root for.
That's cool. Go Pitt.
As far as injuries, there aren't actually any. There's no P's, there's no Q's. The one thing that we can mention is I think Dalvin he might have had a hammy last year. He had a soft tissue last year that was nagging him.
And he tore his ACL not too long ago.
Yeah. So
or 2 years ago, I should say. So
I'm always a big fan of there's been more tread with it too of the year after the year after. So if they have an ACL injury, you don't really want them the next year. You want them the year after the next year.
Got it.
So going off things like that, that's kind of like the same thing. Saquon Barkley this year, I'm actually pretty high on him. Second overall high, but like high.
Yeah.
And then Dalvin Cook again, as long as he can stay, you just got to stay away from those soft tissue injuries. And the fear with the reason why you're drafting these running backs really high is because they're getting to get 350, 400 touches. Like, that's why you want them. You want them because they want the volume. You want them kind of like receivers and targets, except running backs take a little bit more of the burden. So you're going to always take a risk taking one of those top running backs, because if they're up there, they're probably getting 350 plus touches.
Yeah.
And if you're getting 350 plus touches, you have a high chance you're going to get hurt.
Yeah, sure.
So no P's, no Q's on there.
So Green.
Green as of now, yeah. ETN's coming off the Liz Frank injury, but with his size.
So what do you feel? How do you feel about that injury?
So the Liz Frank.
Even because Najee Harris has it as well.
So Najee Harris has it. The Liz Frank thing is a bigger issue with much bigger guys. So I would think it's much more of an issue with Najee. Big power, bruising back. He's like 6'2", 240, whatever he is. Like, that's his game. ETN is more of a scat back. He's more of a catch it out of the backfield, get him in open space, let him run around people. ETN I'm much less worried for, and he's had a whole year to recover it. The Najee thing, we can kind of get to when you get him, but it like came out that he's been dealing with it. He was good enough to play in the preseason, so I think that's a very promising sign. But Liz Frank injuries, I mean, if you're a lineman, you're a linebacker, you're a big bruising guy, a little bit more of a a little bit more of a hesitance on it.
Okay.
ETN, I have no worries.
But he's cool.
This gets a green light from Dr. T, green flag on there. I don't see any issues. I think Bateman had something last year, but no issues with it. I haven't heard anything about it. You just hope the running backs stay healthy. Anything, if any injuries were to happen from this team, it would be a non-predictable injury type of thing.
Cool. Next one we got. Actually, my team.
We're gonna go over your team. Why don't you give them the down low on your team? And I'll talk
need
about everything.
buttermilk, because Butters needs some buttermilk, because it's gonna be real spicy on week 1. But he doesn't want to bet me, so we know why. He doesn't do too well against me. So my team. Let me just go to my actual roster, see which one.
Mm-hmm.
I got Kyler Murray, Eckler, Javonte Williams, CeeDee Lamb, DJ Moore, Schultz. Schultz was kind of a weird one for me. Nick Chubb. We got never had to talk about the Ravens D. Got is that who I got as my kicker? Butker. I thought I picked somebody else. Gill. I don't know his first name. It's his punter. Trenton Gill. And then Montgomery, Breece Hall, Deontay Johnson, Amari Cooper, Hawkinson, Elijah Moore, Colts defense, and none other Deshaun Watson.
Coming in the back end.
Yeah, so hopefully I could just use him for 2 weeks and he balls.
Yeah. So for you,
I guess CD Lamb is dealing with something. Let's see what.
But CD had like a cut on his foot. He's just
Oh.
like he's fine. Yeah. He has like a cut on his foot. That's not gonna last very long. Questionable is just they have to have that if he doesn't practice.
Gotcha.
Can you actually tell us from a medical perspective what the probable, questionable, doubtful, what do those actually entail?
So they have to give you some sort of. It's a lot of the practice ones are depending on how much of the practice you participate in. I don't remember the exact percentages, but like if you miss any part of practice, you're going to be probable. So that's why you see guys who just have like probable literally all year long. Is a lot of those guys who are doing the time management, the snap count type of things. They're going to be probable throughout practice, and it's just going to be like probable. And they have to have a designation. You have to have a reason for sitting out. So they'll say probable, back soreness or like knee soreness or whatever it's going on. Questionable is, I think it's if you miss half a practice, half of the designated time. And then doubtful is if you're like missing most of practice. So like if you're there participating, but not really, that's doubtful. They usually don't use doubtful during the practice portion because they're just usually just going to say you're out. But doubtful going into like a game time thing, like a Saturday night thing, going into a Sunday, that's usually about a 25% chance you'll play. Questionable is about 50-50. Probable is usually about like 80% you're going to play. But they have to designate you something for practice. So obviously questionable. He's probably not doing a bunch of the running. He's going through the meetings. He's probably lifting. He's probably doing a bunch of that. That's probably why he's questionable. But from a medical perspective, it is also kind of, I think they just have to based on how much they miss.
Gotcha.
So it's not really something. It's kind of something to keep an eye on, but not particularly something to keep an eye on because it could just be, you're just missing because that's just, you didn't want to practice this week and you're, the franchise player or this and that. Like if you're the guy, I don't think they care about it. If you're someone who's been in the league for very long, CeeDee Lamb, I don't think they have an issue with him knowing the playbook at this point. So it's one of those.
Schultz. I know he's had some history of some injuries. I'm not too sure.
Dalton Schultz, didn't he have concussions?
Oof.
I want to see he had a history of concussions. I could be wrong with that.
Yeah,
I need
he's
the
always
Deucers to check
out.
that one
Yeah, he's
out.
always out.
He was on and off last
at least
year.
4 to 5 weeks every year so far.
Yeah, he was on and off last year. I am slightly worried about Murray and Eckler, but just out of like purely, Kyler Murray gets hurt a lot. He's a smaller guy. Kind of same thing with Eckler is he's gonna get the 350 plus touches, and he's 5'10" or lower, whatever he is. He's a small guy.
Gets banged up.
Would I shy away from them? No, but would I have a handcuff? Yeah. So for
It's actually right ankle.
right ankle, okay. So he was getting an ankle sprain. I think it was your other tight end that was getting the other tight end that kept getting concussions. But anyway, it's neither here nor there. So Schultz, as long as ankle, like you got time to heal that up. I'm not worried about it.
It's the same ankle in 2019 and 2021. Does the same kind of get you nervous?
So the question was because it was the same ankle that had been hurt in 2019 and 2021, does that concern me at all? Not particularly. The things with ankle sprains is it's really hard to, your ankles are taped up so much in a professional football game, especially someone who's had ankle problems, that ankle sprains are going to be a fluke. So you don't really see things kind of like chronic ankle sprains going on, especially on big boys like tight ends that are bigger and they're more of inline. They're not as fancy dancy. They can really lock up their ankles without too much to worry. If it was recurring, he had to keep missing practice from it consistently. Like if he kept missing practice in 2020 but didn't actually miss games or something, then I would be like, all right, it might be something that's lingering, sticking around.
Gotcha.
But because it's kind of 2 years apart, I wouldn't be super concerned about it. It's not something that I wouldn't move him up or down on my boards because of it. I wouldn't be concerned. I think that'd be something that might in a game, you tape it up, you might go back in. He might end up with a probable designation for a while, but I don't think it's gonna hinder it too much. He might just get an extra treatment for it.
Yeah, that's why Eckler scared me, but he happened to fall to me at the 5, and I was like, yeah, I gotta take him.
Yeah, you got to do it. I have him in another league too. I'm not afraid of it. It's just kind of
one of those things.
He's one of the guys that I make sure I have the handcuff for, like him, Najee, Derrick Henry. I'm gonna make sure I have those backup guys because they're getting so many touches, Eckler's a little bit smaller, and then Derrick Henry and Najee just being more of a power guy. Same thing with McCaffrey. Like, you just have to. You got to get the backup for it. But either you want the guys that are going to get targeted 100 times in the past game and get 250, 300 rushes. Like, you want those guys. You want their handcuffs no matter what.
Yep.
Regardless, even if they have an injury history, whether they don't. So I'm not upset at it. It's just like something I got to keep in mind. Same thing with Kyler Murray. Had that ankle that never really got fully healed, but it seems like he's fine.
He started to be strong last year, and then I lost because he was hurt. But thanks to Jalen Hurts, he kind of kept me in the loop.
Yeah. So as far as this is concerned, green means go. Maybe a little bit, maybe a tiny bit of yellow just because of the Murray Eckler thing, but like high risk, high reward.
Gotcha.
Being first or last. Like, who cares whether I'm 4th place or like 12th place?
Yeah,
10th place doesn't matter.
Are you big on like worrying about your buys, or you just figure it out when you get there?
I used to. Now I don't. Now I'm just like, if I got to punt a week, I'd rather punt 1 week than have a bunch of weeks.
Yeah.
Or I'm just gonna make sure I have a bench guy that can rotate in.
Got it.
So it's kind of both ways, but I try not to worry about it while I'm drafting because I'm like, by week 8 my team's gonna be way different anyways. So let's maybe not way different, but there's a high chance I'm gonna have a bunch of different things from injuries or whatever. So I try not to worry about bye weeks too much. Just let it fall. If it's a tiebreaker between guys, sure.
Yeah.
But like, I
just go for my guy.
I won't jump him up or not. And then for your bench, I think Nick Chubb's is as solid as it comes. Same thing with DJ Moore. He's gonna play through everything. Javonte Williams, not worried about. Montgomery had a weird ankle thing going on, but not as much anymore.
Yeah.
For one of the seasons. Breece Hall kind of worries me.
Just because he's had a lot.
He's a rookie. He's a pass catcher. Yeah, he's gonna get a lot of touches in open field. Could get teed off on him. I like him. The Deontay Johnson thing was a weird thing. I was watching the game.
Was it?
So he went up for like a deep ball
really?
to catch it. Yeah, so he like turned around and caught a ball and then came down. So it could be, if it's a subluxation or something like that, it could be something, but it could be so subluxation is like a mini dislocation where it goes out and in.
Ooh,
and that could happen if your arm's in a certain position, you hit the ground on your back and it'll just pop a little bit. And they could just be keeping you out just to be safe.
Just to be safe, yeah.
I'm not super worried about the Deontay Johnson injury. That's kind of they'll keep him out for a bit. They'll tighten it up. They'll wrap it up. They got things for that. As long as it wasn't a full dislocation, it's not something to worry about. Could it start nagging at him? Maybe, but you're a receiver. You can you don't have to get hit in the shoulders. Yeah, if it's a running back with that kind of
they protect
subluxation,
receivers now a lot.
Yeah, so if it's a lower extremity injury for receivers, I'm going to be a little bit more cautious as opposed to upper body. He's a veteran now. He doesn't need to get his 100 catches in a week. Like, he doesn't need to do that as much. So I'm not super concerned about that. Deshaun Watson, red flag for getting not going to be there for the first 11 weeks for extraneous injuries. No, other than that, it's pretty green flag. Like, the outlook may be slightly lime green, but like I would say like, yeah, it's
I
green.
feel it. That's how I felt when I started drafting them players. I was like,
like pretty. Like, I'm not concerned right now. It's just like potential for it, but like that's a risk you take with fantasy. Like, with fantasy, like that's just the risk you take with those guys. That's what football is. So you're gonna live with the injuries. Just you hope it doesn't happen to you as much.
Straight up. Next one is
another greenie.
Up next, defense.
Zach's team. So Zach's team, he's got Russell Wilson, Christian McCaffrey, Zeke Elliott, Terry McLaurin, Cortland Sutton, Travis Kelce, George Kittle. You went double tight ends. We were talking about this earlier. Broncos D, Brandon McManus, and something Bailey. Punters are going to be so much fun.
Dang, he really did go double. Damn.
So,
I forgot that we had tight ends in there.
Yeah, he's got double.
Damn.
Someone tried to snag him from him. So the only injury report he has is the Sanders, and I think it's a quad injury, but I think he's back at practice. He's a hamstring.
Something like that.
Okay, yeah, so a little worrisome.
He always, let's see what it says.
Yeah, he's back at practice, though.
Hamstring?
So, that'd be the only orange. 1 being a hamstring, 2 being
he said he returned to
running back hamstring, and then 3 being Miles Sanders has had a little bit of history of not being able to see the field the whole time. So a little bit on that. Maybe an orange for him specifically, like orange yellowish. Not too crazy, but it is something to keep in mind. Luckily, he's on his bench. The one thing I will point out is we were just talking about the year after, right?
Yeah.
Cortland Sutton, this is the year after, not the year after the year after. I'm very big on Sutton. I love Sutton as a player, one of my favorite non-Raider receivers in the league. I love how he plays. And he's getting an upgrade with Russell Wilson now. So I'm pretty big on him. But again, knee soreness is going to come into it. Is there could be the time, not saying for sure, but there could be a little bit of knee soreness playing during that. There could be, is he fully back yet? Is he going to be cutting like he used to? What's going to happen? So
What do you feel about Jerry Jeudy? I know he came back from a high ankle.
high ankle sprain. So high ankle sprains are just nagging until you get them fixed.
Got it.
So the difference between high ankle sprain and low ankle sprain is high ankle sprain is a muscle.
Got it.
So you hurt your muscle called like your peroneals is the muscle that it's called, and it travels up the side of your leg, basically in front of your calf. So you know how you push your calf down and it kind of sticks out on the side, right in that little groove that comes up between kind of your shin and the calf. You have muscles up there, and they control your foot that tilts kind of your big toe down and out.
Yeah. Did it.
So that's an issue with the peroneals and stuff.
So Sutton is kind of the yellow.
Yeah, Sutton's kind of yellow. Jerry Judy's
Cool.
well. Sutton's kind of a green yellow green, just of like he could miss things, and you just never know the year after. Judy is once you get that high ankle sprain fixed, it's fixed, but it's like really nagging, and it takes much longer than anyone expected. It almost takes like a 6 to 8 week process. It's really long, and it's annoying. In the chat, we got
50.
We got 50 asking in, you're talking about OBJ. No, we're not, but he's going to be another one where it's going to be, year after the year after. So do I want him this year in fantasy? No. Will I root for him? Yeah. But next year, is he going to be a guy if he's in a decent situation? Yeah, like I'm targeting Sutton next year really high because I think year after, that's going to be a big deal. That's why I had Saquon kind of moving up the boards because you're still trying to get, like, it really does take 9 to 12 months to get your stuff sorted out from there. Then to go back to being a professional athlete, it's like,
Yeah, it's tough.
yeah, it's not great. It's a tough time. So that's my one thing on his team. Obviously, Christian McCaffrey has the injury history. He has nothing nagging him right now, but he again, that goes where it's small. He's smaller. He's gonna get 400 touches. Like he's gonna get all of this volume, and you just hope he can like survive.
Yeah, for real.
So is he gonna get banged up during the year? Is he gonna have the P and the Q next to his name for the O? So he's gonna be a guy where again I'm getting his handcuff. I'm just waiting there, and I hope he boom or bust. This year I'm glad I didn't have the first round pick or the first overall pick in a league. I might have taken McCaffrey just for boom or bust. Of like again, do I get points for just making the playoffs? Like no, we aren't like an NFL team. Like if we make the playoffs 10 years in a row, we aren't like yay we did it. Like no, you didn't win anything.
You didn't do shit.
Again, you gotta hand it. You gotta hand it to the boom or bust guys. You gotta hand it.
Left
to
side's motto is if you're not first, you're last.
Yeah, not first, you're last. So I'm okay with this team. I would just be slightly worried about the Christian McCaffrey potential, but like that's a risk you take. I would do the same thing. Cortland Sutton, if he misses some time, it might be from knee soreness, or just like he might get like off to a slow start or whatever. But I like him. I like him a lot. The Miles Sanders hamstring might be.
Yeesh.
That's probably the only issue I'd say.
Orange.
He specifically would be orange. This team overall would probably be more of a yellowish, more green than yellow, like yellow green. From the history of the team in general.
Yeah, true.
But overall, like nothing to really scoff at, nothing to worry about. But yeah, love the Russell Wilson. He's getting kind of old, but he's always been durable. He stays in. Scary Terry is basically quarterback proof. I would almost. He even got an upgrade. One was Carson Wentz being an upgrade is not really a thing that anyone would say, but like he got an upgrade for someone who can sling the ball.
True.
I kind of like it. Like this. If this team stays together, this team stays healthy, especially even though it's double tight end in the flex. Like again, if Kittle stays healthy. He's again one, maybe I should talk about him a little bit, is he's just always got something going. He had a bunch of weird freak accidents where he had his knee hyperextended, got rolled up on. He had George Kittle.
Oh.
He had a bunch of weird injuries, I remember, that just came up throughout the years. And so, again, if he can stay healthy, if Zach's team stays healthy, they're very, very dangerous. Are they going to stay healthy the whole year?
We'll see.
Not like the highest of chances, but if they do, they're a scary team. So
yeah, straight up.
They get a green with a yellow outlook. Green with the yellow outlook. What do we got coming up?
Next team, Chosen 150 BSB.
All right, 50. Stay in the chat for this
Trash.
one. Let me roast your entire team real quick.
Trash.
So he's got Jalen Hurts, Kareem Hunt, Devin Singletary, Debo, Devontae Adams, Mike Gesicki, AJ Brown, the Niners D, Nick Folk, Bradley Pinion, one of the punters I do know.
Bradley.
Herbert fully loaded on his bench. Chris Godwin, Brandon Ayuk, Robert Woods, Neam Hines, and Damian Williams, Sony Michelle, and who's that last one? Evan Ingram. Oh. Well,
Evan Ingram's one of those guys that's been banged up for most of his career.
yeah, he's got a bunch of stuff going in. So his team, so a couple of the obvious ones. I don't even know what Debo's is. Is that a new thing that came up?
What? Is he hurt?
Yeah, he's got a questionable by his name, but I don't know why. He missed like a week. He missed like a week for like a knee thing, but it says he looked crisp. I don't know. Oh, he had a bruise behind his knee. Nah, he's fine. That's nothing to worry about. He's fine, but because he's missing any part of practice, they got to give him that cue.
Yeah.
Because he's missing probably half of practice. They're like, you don't have to do anything, but for like a reason, you have to state it. So I'm not worried about Debo.
Now, I actually I was just looking at Debo right here. His history of injuries, I would say about 80% is more strain related.
Mm-hmm.
Is that something that you are kind of careful with going forward in your analysis?
So the thing with him is he doesn't, correct me if I'm wrong, has he been injuring the same thing over and over again, or is it pretty like just a bunch of them? He's got, like, a
So
quad or a
hamstring,
ankle.
groin, hamstring, glute, calf, groin, knee strain. Every
Yeah.
time he pops up, they were giving it, but that's the history straight through.
Yeah, so hamstring bothers me.
Always
as
hamstring,
per
yeah.
usual. That's always a big one. Yeah. Does it move him down? No, but is it like if he gets it, am I playing it super careful? Like I'm not starting him that week because he's probably like staying out. Yeah, but risk reward again with him is he's gonna get. I mean, he's not gonna get the 300 touches or anything, but he's gonna get a high volume. He's gonna be involved in a bunch of different facets of the game. His PPR ceiling right now is kind of pretty high if he can stay on the field. But that's the thing: is he going to stay on the field? Is that the offense going to be the same with Trey Lance? What's going to go on with it? So purely injury history, I'm not super juiced if I have Debo as like my guy that I'm reliant on. Could he give you the donut where he pulls up lame halfway through?
Yep.
And then he gives you a one catch for 7 yards with 2 targets and a drop because he pulled his hamstring. Like maybe. So he's risky for sure, but he's going to give you the 25.3 touchdown games. Like you got to take it. So I'm not super upset, but it's definitely a yellow. It's definitely anyone with recurring hamstring injuries is going to be.
I didn't think it was hamstring and groin and calf, and that's crazy.
So the groin is another hamstring. Very commonly, it's called your adductor magnus, and it's your inside, and your groin is basically another hamstring. So it's, to me, that spells recurring hamstring strains. Could that be like a biomechanical thing? Could that be something the way he runs? Could it be, his pressure? Could it be like he just has too much explosiveness? Like, could be a thing in all the ways, but I'm not super happy about that. But the fact that he hasn't had recurring things, last year he stayed healthy all year.
So yeah, so at least that's a good start.
I'm okay with it. It's still a yellow. Like, I have him, and if he gets hurt, I'm not like, oh man, how'd that happen? It's kind of like, all right,
Oh fuck, I knew
I
that.
got it. Yeah, so a little bit of a yellow there. Singletary, I think, has been banged up every once in a while,
BSBs.
but I don't think it's anything like residual. The Godwin and Woods scare me. So his bench kind of scares me. Godwin's the year after. So was Woods. They both had ACL injuries last year. They both went on the IR. I think Robert Woods was later in the year, like week 8 or 9 or something. He tore his, so he shouldn't be back yet, honestly, in a real human standpoint. That's 6 months. Is he a stasher? Could he like get his stuff figured out? Yeah, but like I'm not super high on him. he might miss a bunch of practices due to knee soreness. The problem with that, as opposed to a different person, is he's in a new team, he's in a new offense, so like that practice time kind of matters at that. Godwin not as much, just because you got Tom Brady. Like, what are you gonna
just run your route?
Yeah, and he's been in the same offense, been on the same team. So Godwin, I'm less worried about. Bobby Trees, I'm a little worried about. I do like Godwin as a stash. I don't want to have to play him for the first 6 weeks.
Well, that's just the good thing about his team is he actually has 2 good receivers, so he doesn't have to really worry.
Yeah, so the fact that those are both on the bench, if I have Godwin as a flex or something, I'm worried. The fact that he's on the bench and he's got he's got AJ Brown as flex still, so he's going to be doing okay with those. I'm not
he went pretty
super worried about it.
Heavy, huh?
Yeah, all receiver heavy. Hunt being RB1 is a little tough in a 10 team league, but hey man, you got two elite quarterbacks in there, so you do what you got to do. So yeah, I'd give this team a yellow, just from
history.
Yeah, Debo's history. The Godwin and Woods they could just never get up to full speed. Is Godwin going to be solid? Yeah, but is he going to be like
Godwin?
I want it? Yeah, so he's not going to be the same guy. He might have the couple boom weeks, but I don't think he's going to be super great. Just like consistency.
Yeah.
And that's one of the things I always like. I want consistency. I don't want to put goose eggs. I don't want like.
At least go out there and give me 5 catches.
Yeah, I like the guys. I like the high target share. You could see the games where Godwin just doesn't have the juice, and Tom's like, I don't want to throw to him because
he's trash.
And if there's any team where I could see someone just get no targets because someone decided not to, it's gonna be Tom Brady's like, I don't like that matchup at all. I'm never gonna go there. And so, I mean, if he doesn't feel like Godwin's full up, like Tom's on a time, like he's ticking, baby. He doesn't have too many years left. I know we keep saying that about him. We've been saying that for the last 10 years with him, so screw me, right? But like he's really has a few years left. He doesn't want to waste his time like doing that. So
now, Timo, are you gonna accept 50's BSB bet that I did see there?
They're playing the Bears. I'm not gonna take that bet. Doesn't sound like a good bet. Both of my receivers are playing good teams. The Bears, no, I'm not taking it. But nice try. How about my team outscores your team? Oh wait, no, we'll save that for the actual.
Yeah, we'll save that for the head-to-head.
Yeah, we'll wait for that. Don't worry about it.
But yeah, so that team overall gets kind of a yellow flag just from the bench, like the depth. Mostly green, but that's probably this would be the first team I had a little bit of hesitation on of like, all right, there's some worry there eventually, and it's not like new stuff. It's stuff that's already been there. Would I have taken the risk on those guys though? Yeah. So I would have drafted Godwin knowing that he's going to be like a rotation guy, or if he gets his stuff together, I'm going to be able to put him in, or he's going to be trade bait for someone if they get a couple injuries, or if I have some injury, like
straight up.
Would I feel comfortable starting him in a flex or something eventually? Yeah. Am I like juiced about it? Kind of, but not really.
Gotcha.
So that gets my first yellow, but it's not like a blaring yellow. It's just like you took the risk, but you knew what you were doing with it. So he knew what he was doing with this. They're on the bench. I get it. So first kind of yellow flagging coming in there.
Next
Who do we got
team, Chef B.
Chef Bungalow. Probably my favorite. Gonna be my favorite team. So Chef Bungalow, Ryan. One thing about Ryan is he just does what he wants, and he wants his guys. He's gonna go get his guy. So he took Saquon with the 3rd overall pick.
Bang.
Which I support it. Way to go. Year after we talked about it. I was kind of higher on him.
He was watching Painter Game.
He was watching Painter Game. He knew. I had him slated towards the end of the first round that I would have been okay taking with. Yeah. There's a couple of the first round guys that I would have taken him over. But hey man, you take him at 3. If that's your guy, it's your guy. You go get it. So he's got Patty Ice, Patrick Mahomes, Saquon Barkley, Michael Carter, DK Metcalf, Adam Thielen, Dallas Goedert, Jerry Jeudy, who we talked about earlier. We can reiterate that a little bit. Bills defense, the GOAT Justin Tucker, and then damn it, what's his name? Something Borquez, Corey Bojorquez, great punter name. On his bench, he's got Lamar Jackson, Jalen Waddle, Alan Lazard, Jarvis Landry, Austin Hooper, Alex Madison, defense, and then Cedric Wilson Jr. So the big blaring one is going to be Saquon Barkley. Could he get hurt? Yeah. Like, is he probably the biggest? Maybe outside of Christian McCaffrey, he's probably the biggest boomer bust guy you can get. Problem is
With
last
his injury
year he
history.
busted just because the Giants were a dumpster can of a team, and he was just coming off ACL. He wasn't the same as a little bit.
No.
So I kind of give him a pass, and his kind of just history of him just
Yeah, they're
being a
gonna
guy.
probably still share the rock over there too for a little bit until he can show that he's like. Full
Yeah, I'm sure
100.
they're gonna pitch count him a little bit more just to keep him steady if they're trying to build or whatever. Like that's your team, go. So I'm not super worried about him. I like him. I hope he does well. He's gonna be like a yellow flag though. But I go into that draft drafting him knowing that's what's gonna happen. So I draft him with, hey, I don't know if this is gonna work out, but again, if I'm not first, I'm last. So he's high risk, high floor and pretty low ceiling too.
Yeah.
The other Q was Jalen Waddle. They haven't given anything about it. They just said he'd be very confident. It's a lower body injury. They aren't saying strain. If it's a hamstring or something, I'm a little concerned.
Just because nobody know you don't.
Yeah, they're
talking
just saying
about it.
lower body injury. They're not doing anything crazy with it. So he's kind of, I don't really know what to think about that, but am I concerned? Not really. If he misses week 1, am I concerned? Yeah, heavily. But if he doesn't miss week 1, I think we're good. Alan Lazard in there too. His was undisclosed lower body injury. He was running around in practice though. So
Everybody's just kind of.
I assume he's fine. Yeah, at this point, you're kind of like, hey, if you were banged up a little bit, we're just going to keep you.
Yeah.
I think both of those are just, I think Alan Lazard got like bumped up or something, but during practice or during one of the games, he got roughed up. But I'm not super concerned about that. The Jerry Jeudy high ankle sprain, I'm not worried about anymore. I was last year. If I get someone during the year who gets a high ankle sprain, I'm trying to trade him. I will try to get rid of him. Do not want high ankle sprain that lingers. It goes forever. You can play with it and still be okay for a game or two, but it could come back because you're still practicing on it and doing stuff. That's one of the ones that kind of worries me. But the fact he kind of had it and he's, resolved it and it's better now, then I'm like less concerned about it. Huge upgrade at quarterback.
Yep.
I don't think there's any. Michael Carter, sneaky good pick. I kind of like it. Do I want him as my RB2? Maybe not, but I kind of like he's still technically the starter over Breece Hall. He's still he did decent last year. He was a second round pick last year, which is pretty high for running back. So I don't mind it. I think it's going to be a two-headed monster, and if the Jets can be anywhere near competent, it's going to be good for both of them. But
I wonder if they're going to use Breece Hall as like a slot receiver.
that's the idea.
Yeah.
That's what they're supposed
That's what
to
they
be
were
doing.
going to say?
Yeah.
Oh, really? That's kind of
So,
cool. You have both of them? I mean, it makes sense. You got to take the best talent and just put them on the field. It should work.
yeah, if
You
your
know,
running back's
and
good,
you're-
same thing with Tony Pollard. What they do is you got the best running back, put him at receiver if he's better than your third receiver or whatever.
Maybe Solid could do something over there. Maybe
Yeah,
he's
so
putting
you gotta
together
do
some
something.
pieces. But I mean,
Yeah.
Zach Wilson getting hurt, that didn't really help much.
So overall, I just team it green. Green with a yellow outlook, depending on the Waddle, the Lazard. Saquon obviously is always going to be a little bit of question mark, but green means go, and then probably
Yeah,
yellow
sick.
for outlook of just no.
Possibility.
Yeah, we'll see what happens with them.
Cool. Next team, Lil J Sherbert,
Lil J.
first
Sherbert.
Super Bowl. Shout out Left Side Gang. Sarah.
Sorry, we're gonna roast your team real quick. So her team goes Josh Allen, DeAndre Swift, Cam Akers, Jamar Chase, Hunter Renfro, Njoku, Amon-Ra St. Brown, one of the greatest names of all time, Bucks D, Daniel Carlson, the GOAT, and Bobby Gillikin. Is that his name? Is it Bobby? It's Blake Gillikin. Damn, I 100% guessed.
Bobby, that was close.
Blake Gillikin, Gabe Dave, Zay Jones, Matt Stafford, Tyler Boyd, Hunter Henry, Jacoby Myers, Josh Palmer, Pat Fryermuth. So, let me go over this Jacoby Myers. I don't know, he was injured. Blah, blah.
He kind of did okay last year.
He had a sleeve on his leg.
Ooh.
Yeah, I'm not super concerned. If he had a sleeve, he was still running. Not super concerned for him, but he's just a New England receiver, so concerned in general.
Got it.
But as far as this team goes, the one thing is that Cam Akers.
So what's up with Cam Akers? What did he have?
So he was the weird phenomenon where he had the Achilles rupture in like training camp or something.
Oh, fuck.
And then he returned 4 months later to play like in the playoffs.
Oh.
When he came back, he was not good. So I don't know what the whole story behind doing that was. I don't know why they brought him back. I don't know what the rush was for him.
Just to play.
Yeah, but like,
Because even Henderson was out. They lost all their running backs.
yeah. So I mean, I guess I get it, but still, that's so ballsy to put him back in. Am I super high on him? Not really. Just because it's an Achilles, you never know with him. His thing is he's explosive. He's a one cut, get downfield. I find a hole and go through it. If that's a quarter of a second off in the NFL, it's a big deal. So I'm less concerned with him being re-injured from it. I'm just more concerned of like performance-wise because of it. I don't think he's gonna pop his Achilles again or anything. It's just gonna be getting back into shape.
Yeah,
So-
the year, like you said, not the year, but the year after.
Yeah. So the one thing I'd be concerned with him is going to be soft tissue injury elsewhere because of it by making up for it. So having
Calf
like a
or
hamstring or like a
yeah.
quad or like a hip flexor or groin or whatever it is, like getting a lower body soft tissue because trying to compensate for it. That'd be my only concern. Other than that, it's just going to be, has he gotten back in shape? That's all you're going to need. Not super concerned about that. I think DeAndre Swift was kind of banged up last year, but there's no side of that. No
Just being a
overseeing
running back
anything.
in the
Yeah,
NFL.
like that's again, most of these running backs, any top running back is going to be like, well, they had something here or there. I'm not super concerned about him. Kind of like him actually as like a sleeper. He should
I
be
like
catching a lot of passes. He
him
should be doing some stuff. Matt Stafford had a weird elbow thing going in. The scary thing with that was it was called tendonitis, which is an overuse injury. Having an overuse injury on your throwing arm is a little less than desirable. But word on the street was everything was fine. He was just like chilling, basically. He was like, yeah, I'm just going to rest it. I'll be all right. No worries, no harm, no foul. I'll be ready by the season start. Was it him or someone else? Someone had nerve damage in their arm. Was that
Ooh, shit.
Stafford? I can't remember who that was.
Have no idea. Nerve damage?
I feel like there was a quarterback with nerve damage, but I also want to say it was quarterback on the Raiders. Am I wrong?
Nerve damage?
There's a quarterback who had in his fingers, he couldn't feel his fingers or something.
Oh, shit.
I can't remember what, it wasn't Bortles or anything. So it wasn't Stafford for sure. Stafford is fine. I'm just like irritated at this question now. Mariota. There we go.
Oh.
So it was on the Raiders. That's all like solved out for now though. Yeah, I'm not concerned about it. I think it's gonna be fine. Stafford's a professional. Stafford's one of my more favorite quarterbacks in the league, just from him like being an animal. The viral thing of him dislocating his shoulder during a Lions game-winning drive and then going back, and it's just like, oh, it's so
He's a
viral. You
man.
gotta love that guy.
Yeah.
I love him. By the way, the Verizon commercial that he's in, top tier.
That's hella funny. Yeah.
Such a great commercial. Oh my gosh. The him like, oh yes, but I've stayed with this company for 12 years of my life and loved every second of it. And then I get traded to this other team, and then we go and have immediate success, but I'll still always love that. Oh my, it's such a good commercial. Love it. Love that commercial.
Thanks to the curse,
Yeah.
he actually got a ring.
This team gets a green. This team gets a green. No worries with Jamar Chase. And Njoku's kind of always banged up, but like that was one of your last picks at tight end. Like you gotta, that's gonna be, I don't know if it's your weak spot, but that's gonna be like the weaker of your starting one. If he kind of gets banged up, not too big of a deal. I kind of like Fairmouth anyways. I kind of like both of those tight ends to be like on the same level, so it's okay one way or another. I'm not super worried about it, but this gets a green. No issues for me. No issues from me.
Solid. Next team is yours.
Next team's my team. Let's rip this thing apart, man. So I've got Trey Lance, Leonard Fournette, Josh Jacobs, Cooper Kupp, Stephon Diggs, Kyle Pitts, Michael Pittman Jr., Steelers D, Evan McPherson, Michael Dixon. Oh, I should have made a dick joke for the name too. Oh well. Chase Edmonds, Dak Prescott, Brandon Cooks, Tony Pollard, Christian Kirk, Tyler Lockett, Cole Kmet, and James Robinson. So I tried to go where I'm going to try to get the healthiest team possible for starting lineups and then kind of maybe take some swings later on. So that really was a genuine concern of mine is in a 10-team league, the healthiest team may win.
Yeah,
Like, that
for
just
sure.
might happen.
Yep.
You might have 9 running backs injured, like seriously
real,
in the
dude.
top, and you just hope it's not yours.
Yep, that's it.
So I kind of tried to stay away from the early running backs, knowing it's going to be gone, but there was enough that I was okay with, and I can snag one here or there. But Leonard Fournette has had a little bit of hamstring issues. But they were attributing it to his. Oh no, he had a bad ankle. He had a bad ankle, and maybe he did have an hamstring last year. I could be wrong. But he had an ankle issue last year. See if I can get down to it. He had the weight issue too. That was a weird thing. That was a weird storyline of he came in at like 240 pounds. He was supposed to be at 220 or something.
Oh shit.
And so he came in like kind of out of shape, I guess, but like whatever.
Yeah.
So that was the big issue. Oh no, he weighed in under 260 and he was supposed to be at 240. That was the big thing. That is kind of big, but whatever. I'm fine with it now. He's had soft tissue injuries before, even when he was at LSU. So he's had like seasons where he had hamstring nagging things,
Yeah.
or he'll miss a game or here or there. So am I super juiced about it? Not really, but it's kind of him as risk reward. Is he going to catch 4 or 5 catches a game on top of what he's doing? So
He's a red zone threat.
yeah, he's going to get a lot of touchdowns. So he's going to be another kind of big risk. Maybe not huge, not as big of a risk as others, but he's still kind of a risk. Riskier than some of the other guys, but higher upside, I believe, than some of the other guys.
What happened to Josh Jacobs? He got injured last year, right? Or
Josh Jacobs had a quad or ankle thing going on last year. I want to say it was his ankle. He had a bum ankle for like half the year. I don't remember. Can we pull that up?
Yes.
That one was kind of what I care about. He did miss a little bit of time but it was like an undisclosed issue, so I don't know if that was him like going back home or what's going on, but
That's interesting.
yeah, I want to say he had a nagging thing. He had like an ankle injury that kept coming back. I don't remember if it was the dreaded high ankle sprain, but he had something going on. I know he has had quad issue before.
It was a toe sprain last year.
Toe sprain.
Ouch.
Yeah, he had something nagging at him. You don't like toe sprains. Turf toe is actually pretty ugly. It's not a good thing to deal with, and it is something to be concerned about. But if they don't say turf toe, it's a little bit better. So toe sprain, it is kind of is what it is. I'm not super concerned. You can kind of heal that through.
And then chest contusion.
Chest
Oh,
contusion.
shit.
That's what it was. He got like a helmet to the ribs.
Fuck.
Yeah. So those are two that are like sucks that it happens. Those are kind of fluke things though.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm not super concerned about him being hurt. He fell because of his just like questions about are they going to use him in the offense. So I was kind of okay. Like, well, I felt a little bit more positive about
Is
it.
there the backup doing better, or there's
Well, it's
the
just
style
Josh
play?
McDaniels. So Josh McDaniels,
Josh Jac-
Patriots. Josh Jacobs
like
is
to run the
usually
ball,
good.
though.
So Josh Jacobs is really good because of his volume. So he's always gotten 280 carries. He's gotten something like that. The thing with Josh McDaniels is he hasn't had a single running back under him get over 250 carries or something. 220 carries.
because he
So he
always-
rotates. He likes to rotate. There's Amir
keep him
Abdullah. There's the rookie Zamir White. They're kind of just thinking because he is like normally just a
runner.
middle of the pack, like is like a 10 to 15 to 20 like fantasy running back. And it's been because he's had all this volume. So there's worry about him. Like, well, he's not going to get the 25 touches a game. He's not going to like get the volume. So that's why he was falling. I was okay to get him because I was like, hey, I got a Raider. It'll be fun to watch games too. I would be more concerned with just his literal production than like injury. So that's
Okay.
where I stand on that. Cup, Diggs, Pittman are all pretty.
They're all
Yeah,
healthy,
they're
healthy
pretty
guys.
stiff as they come. Chase Edmonds, I feel like he had a little banged up last year, but he's one of those
Is
smaller
he still in
scat
Arizona?
backs. No, he's on Miami.
Oh,
So
nice.
he's on Miami, smaller scat back. I'm not super concerned. I think if he gets banged up, it's just going to be he got too many touches.
Yeah,
and, you know, if
something.
he gets banged up, he's getting a bunch of touches. I'm probably, like, happy that he's getting that many touches anyways. I'm not worried about consistent injuries with him. Dak could potential with just, I mean, with that ankle, you never know. So he could be a guy that has ankle soreness or something.
I think it really showed last year, towards the end of the year, that ankle started bothering him. Or
Yeah.
it was just like, it started, you could tell, like, he just wasn't moving right. And
Yeah.
his balls were off a little bit more than usual.
Yeah.
And it was like, not, he didn't, like you said, maybe the year after where he could get.
year after
choosing.
year after.
Yeah.
So I'm not super concerned about it. He's also a guy, he's been in offense. He needs to practice, but he doesn't need to go through like the heavy rigorous stuff. So
Nah,
I'm
just
not super
throwing.
concerned if he gets banged up that he's just going to miss practice and kind of not skip a beat going into it. Those are kind of the guys you want to, if you're going to have an injury with those guys, you'd prefer it to be a guy that kind of knows what they're doing. They're not in a new spot. You know, they're solidified where they at. They don't have someone breathing down their neck, you know, to get playing time or anything. Brandon Cooks, he's fine. He's just gonna be a target whore, basically. Tony Pollard's pretty bulletproof. Christian Kirk, Tyler Lockett, Matt. James Robinson was kind of a dartboard throw at the end. Like if he gets his stuff figured out by the end of the year, I'll have a healthy running back. You know.
Yeah, straight up.
I'm not super juiced on. If he was healthy, I think he'd be a mid-round pick. I think he'd be in flex consideration if he's healthy.
Yeah.
But the fact he wasn't, I'm kind of waiting there. If he misses games, I'll just put him on my IR and pick someone up. He's kind of just the last. I threw a dartboard at him. That's going to be the one kind of potential injury. So I'd get my team in green, maybe a little bit of yellowish just for, I guess just for James Robinson, Leonard Fournette, Josh Jacobs. Yeah, so for my running backs, maybe a little bit of yellow, but I'd say pretty green. Probably the third of all the green flags. It would be the lowest of the green flags.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so it would be
bad, 'cause
the
you-
least
'cause you-
green, but still green, like neon green. The least green, but still green.
Next one is Chiefs playbook.
Chiefs playbook. We were talking about this earlier. I kind of like, I like this
His
team
whole
going
team,
through
yeah.
it. Yeah. So let me Chiefs playbook. Okay. So he's got Aaron Rodgers, Taylor Jones, Tariq Hill, Juju, Tyler Higbee, Antonio Gibson, Packers Young Ho Koo, Thomas Morstead, Clyde Edwards-Helaire, Allen Robinson, Deontay Foreman, Mostert, Henderson, Valdez-Scantling, Garrett Wilson, Mac Jones. His team, I kind of like.
Yeah, there's no question marks on
No,
anybody.
no Blaren. The one thing is Juju's had nagging shoulder problems. I don't think it's going to be an issue, though. Could it be? Yeah. But I don't think it's going to be an issue. He took a discount to go play with Mahomes. Like, go for it.
Yeah.
The Antonio Gibson thing kind of worries me.
What happened with Gibson?
I feel like he always has something.
Yeah, I feel like he never gets
He's
enough
always-
catcher, right?
he-
Had him a couple years.
He always has something, and it's
That's why
always
the consistency's
nagging.
always so high.
Yeah, so he's just kind of a guy where they're going to kind of keep him on a pitch count anyways, and they've been trying to filter him out anyway. So a little bit of, I don't know if the production's going to be like it was last year, and also a little bit of, if he's always got something going on, they're going to keep him to 15 touches or less a game. Like, that's just what's going to happen. So maybe a little bit of worrisome there, but again, first year last, he's kind of a high upside pick.
Yeah, straight up.
High ceiling, low floor kind of guy. Clyde Edwards-Helaire had something all the time last year, but he had a gallbladder removal last year. Came out at the end of the year. He had a gallbladder removal last year. So he was playing catch up, and it's your rookie year. Or no, it was second year last year? Might have been his rookie year last year. I don't remember.
It was his rookie year.
His rookie year last year, and you're playing catch up. So, yeah, gallbladder surgery, having a surgery where you remove literal organ, that is going to be a kind of a bigger deal than it lets off. So I think he was just playing catch up all year, and didn't kind of really get out. I kind of like him as a sleeper this year, to like be able to be a replaceable running back in your roster. I wanted him. He got picked a little bit earlier than
earlier.
yeah, a little bit earlier than I would have liked. But you know, am I mad at where he went? Not really. Allen Robinson, I think, is fine. Mostert's gonna always be a question mark, though. He's always got a
Dinged
hamstring.
up,
Just
yeah.
Niners running backs. Like, what are you gonna do about him? He's on the Dolphins now, but again, he just is so explosive, so fast.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you got to keep that in mind. Again, he's on the bench.
Miami just got 2 explosive dudes that,
Yeah.
like, if you're hurt, he won't be hurt, hopefully.
Yeah, they're good. Henderson should be fine.
Wilson looks
Yeah,
good.
I think they're all
Mac
pretty
Jones.
good. Yeah,
Sheesh.
I don't have any immediates. This is a green.
Green.
This is a potential yellow, but like I still say it's greener than my team, so I'd put him like third green, third healthiest.
Yeah, pretty solid draft there.
Yeah, not super worried. You're just gonna be worried about the Taylor and Jones touches. How many touches they're gonna get?
Ooh, Taylor, for real. He had a hell of last year. He had 360 something.
Yeah, so that's just gonna be your kind of. Those guys are gonna get such a high volume. You hope they stay healthy.
All right. Next one we got is King Henry's Knights. Shout out left side member
So Danny.
Danny.
So then he has Joe Burrow, Derrick Henry, Rashad Penny, Keenan Allen, Mike Evans, Darren Waller, Joe Mixon, Saints, Robbie Gould, John Hecker. I want to get these punters. Johnny Hecker. See? I knew it. Hecker, Cordero, Patterson, Dobbins, Drake London, Knox, McKenzie, Kadarius Toney, and Russell Gage. So this might be the first big yellow flag team, but it's mostly because of his bench. But the Joe Burrow thing is fine. He's going to be fine. Nothing to worry about there.
Yeah, figured that. He played in the Super Bowl, so he's
The Derrick Henry, foot on a big back, so it's a little bit of risk. But like I've been saying, broken record, it's going to be risk with all those guys.
Yep.
Any running back in the first round, the reason you're taking there is because they're going to get 300
hell of
touches.
volume.
The reason you're getting 300 touches just makes you more, you're going to have more injuries as it is. Rashad Penny, I don't know if he stayed healthy for more than like 5 games this season.
No, I'm looking through it right now. I'll tell you. Well, last season he missed 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 weeks.
Yeah, so that's a question mark for me.
7 weeks, but he went off on the last.
Yeah, so that's the thing
last
with him
5
is
weeks.
he is the I think he passed not Barry Sanders, Marshall Faulk at San Diego State when he was there for the most rushing
He's a
yards
baller, yeah.
in San Diego State history.
Yeah, he could play.
So he's the man, but again, he's got a lot of miles on him. I think he had over 5,000 yards rushing in his college career. Like it's
Holy
a stupid
shit.
number. 6,000 maybe. I don't remember what it is, but he had a stupid number. He broke the record. He just can't stay healthy for a whole year.
Oh.
So that's kind of a yellow flag for me. Keenan Allen always gets banged up, but he's old now. But
So
like
makes
I trust
sense.
him. He's old, reliable to me, so I'm okay with it. I kind of like him. Mike Evans has things pop up, but he's durable. His thing is
Just
what he's
'cause
had
he's big.
seven or 8 straight 1,000-yard seasons.
Yeah,
He'll get you
he's,
your
he's
stuff.
one of my favorites for sure.
Yeah, he's fine. The Darren Waller hamstring kind of doesn't make me feel too great either, especially as a Raider fan. Like, not super stoked about it, but like high upside, low floor kind of thing. Could he miss 4 straight games? Yeah. And could he like blow up for
He
the
got
other
hurt
12?
last year
So-
too, man.
Yeah, so he again has been a guy who's kind of had Danny took some swings.
Mixon is also an injury-prone kind of guy too. But
Mixon again gets the 300 plus touches. He's always a little bit banged up, but he plays through a lot of his stuff. So I can't really knock him. He plays through most of his stuff.
he's definitely looks like he's touchdown reliant. Does he catch? Oh, he does actually catch.
Yeah,
it.
he gets a
He's
lot
right.
of passes. What is the Drake London news? Knee.
Dobbins too, right? He's pretty banged up.
What did they say? It said his knee's progressing. He's been held out since August 12th for a right knee injury. I'm not super stoked
Oh,
about that.
sheesh.
But they don't say anything about it. They don't say whether it's sprained. They don't say what's going on. Yeah, I kind of like him, but again, if they're not disclosing it, I don't know. I can't tell if that's good or bad. Even like medically, I don't know if it's. Why would you just say he has a knee sprain? Why would you go whatever? Unless the only thing I could see is if he had like a mini surgery to clean it out. You don't want to say that he's had knee surgery.
Yeah.
So, kind of question mark there. J.K. Dobbins again. I don't really want someone
That's already starting off.
the year after. I want the year after the year after. So, Dobbins kind of worries me. especially if he plays week 1, that it's going to be like, I don't know if I want him to come back too early. Not a huge... but again, he's on the bench. He's a rotation guy. A little less concerned because he can wait on him. Doesn't have to play him right away. That's fine. Kadarius Toney is the ultimate boomer bust guy, I think.
He
He either
nice.
gets you 22 points or he doesn't play because he's got a hamstring strain. Like, he's very much a big yellow to orange flag, but when he plays, he's so good. So, again, that's kind of the guy that you would prefer to be third on your bench, like, or third,
Yeah,
third to
where you
last.
have
Yeah.
him.
Herbert's a nice little handcuff. Gage is going to be, if those receivers go down, he's going to be the guy to step in for Tom. So I'm not super upset about it, but this is definitely the biggest yellow flag team. Penny's injury history, Darren Waller's injury history,
True. He actually.
Dobbins' injury history,
Yeah.
Drake London having the undisclosed knee injury, and the Kadarius Toney. So there's probably 4 or 5 guys that I'm just like, they could miss a lot of time. You could have a lot of missed games this year. Again, if it's on your bench, it's not as bad, but like the Waller thing could be big. Dropping down from Waller at tight end is a little bit of a jump. But swing for the fences, man.
So probably this one is.
I would say
orange?
probably the most yellow.
most yellow.
I wouldn't put it in orange yet, just
because
because
their starters are nice.
Yeah, the only starter with an issue is Darren Waller.
So that's cool.
The Joe Burrow question, he's just held out of practice a week 1. He's fine. And just the Rashad Penny is the yellow flag of like risk potential. So I'd put this as the most yellow, probably the most injury concern of any of the teams we've had so far.
Yeah.
But not like orange. I'm not like immediately alarms going off or anything, but it's definitely yellow. It's definitely something to keep in mind. Definitely a concern. I definitely want handcuffs for those guys if I can. And if not, I'm going to try to trade for him and try to get him. But yeah, not super stoked, but not like you swing for fences. You're not first or last.
Straight up. Yep.
So I'm okay with that.
Cool. And last but not least, They Love Me 3000.
All right. They love me 3,000. Butters. Hopefully he doesn't curse his entire team. Sorry, guys.
I mean, I literally see all red flags because they're on Butters' team. So unfortunate.
We'll go through some of these. Let me look at this before. Why don't you read off the team? I'm reading.
Yeah,
it
I got
real
you. I
quick.
got you. First, starting quarterback, Tom Brady. Najee Harris as for running back. Kamara. T. Higgins, receiver. Mike Williams. Zach Ertz. James Conner. Chargers defense. His name is Matt Gay. Oop, my bad. I got the screen up. Cook. Let's see his first one. Logan Cook. Michael Thomas, Melvin Gordon, DeAndre Hopkins. What's his first name? Elijah Mitchell. Julio Jones, Jameis Winston. What's his first name?
Kenneth Walker III.
Kenneth Walker III.
Chris Olave.
And Chris Olave.
So right off the bat, T. Higgins questionable because he's recovering from a labrum surgery.
Oh, shit.
Only question is if he comes back too soon. But he's practicing full go from what I've seen. He should be okay. He's probably just like skipping out on some things during practice. That's why he has a designation. Am I super concerned about it? No. But would it be like a tiebreaker? I was choosing between him and someone else. Yeah. So it's on the edge of concern, but not like super, super concerned. The Najee Harris Liz Frank thing that came out is a little concerning for it. But it is promising, like I said earlier, it's promising that they said that he's good enough to play in the preseason game and they weren't concerned about it. That tells me something that it's like progressed. It's not hindering him.
It's just
something
like a
to keep an eye on.
nagging injury.
It could be. So that's like, yeah, you're not sure. That's something to keep an eye on. But like, is he probably gonna have a P or Q next to his name most of the year? Yeah.
Just because you're going to arrest him.
Yeah. So he's probably gonna miss some practice times. But like, they probably should give him on a snap count at this point in his honestly.
Seeing how
but-
these running backs go.
The Kamara thing is just, is he gonna get suspended or not? It's when, not if, he's gonna get suspended. If it's this year, it's tough. If it's next year, don't draft him next year. But that's potential thing. Mike Williams is always kind of banged up, but he always plays. Big boomer bust guy. Zach Ertz dealing with a calf injury. I'm not super stoked on.
Calf sucks.
Older guys with calf, not my favorite thing in the world. Does it turn me away from him? No, but does it put him at the bottom of that kind of tight end tier? Like, yeah.
Yeah, they have him as day to day.
Yeah, I'd prefer someone else, but I'm not taking the jump underneath going after someone else. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going after, like, I'm not jumping down to a Freiermuth or something. Like, I'm keeping Ertz over those guys. But it is definitely like, I might want to grab another one just to sit on my bench for a little bit.
Does he have one? He does not.
So you might want to grab one. He's going to be able to
She's
put...
streaming time at tight ends.
He should be able to drop Hopkins onto, like, the IR or something. He should be able to drop people down. He should be all right.
That is
if
true.
he's listening to this, Butters, pay attention.
He's not.
He won't. Michael Thomas, I've spoken earlier about this. I don't like how he's running yet. And I think they're trying to... I think either they are or he is. But he's also had too much time that I think this is just how he is. I don't think he's going to get any better. So I see him running, and you can kind of see if you're really, really watching, he's catering into it on his cuts, or he's changing it. I was supposed to cut for things, but that's like, you got to know what kind of cut he's doing. You got to know why. So it takes like an eye to catch it, but he's definitely like hindered at some point. He's Mike Thomas though. Like, he set the record for catches in a season, like before in 2018 or whatever, or 2019, whatever it was. And so like, I just don't want to see him not fully committed and prepared. And I also don't want him to get into the fact of where he's just missing games because of soreness or something like that, or just something ain't right. So that's a kind of a yellow flag. Not a huge fan of that. Elijah Mitchell, huge yellow, if not orange flag. Luckily, he's on his bench. Just hamstring after hamstring after hamstring you don't want to deal with.
Yeah.
We said it time and time again. And just that Niners running back spot can't stay healthy forever. So,
except for Frank Gore.
And they have enough guys to where if you're a little banged up, they're just not going to play you. Jeff Wilson, I think he played 3 weeks in the starter last year, and he was like a top 10 running back or something.
They just got a good system.
They've got guys that can fill in, and they have the rookie Ty Dave Price or whatever his name is.
Is he good?
I mean, he's a 4th round pick. He was at LSU. Like, he's kind of a slasher back anyway, so like he'll fit in. He'll fit in the system. It's Shanahan's system. Like, it's pretty hard to.
Doesn't matter who you play.
You should be able to get.
That's why
competent
Debo
running
is
backs
back
in
there.
Exactly, but he worries me a little bit. The Hopkins is suspended. It's going to be what it's going to be. The Kenneth Walker thing is kind of weird. I think he had no. Did he have an appendectomy? What did he have? Yeah, I think he had an appendectomy.
Who did? Who did you just say off right now? Jameis?
Kenneth Walker the third.
Oh, the Kenneth Walker third.
Yeah, he had a. It was a hernia repair. Oh, I don't like that. Not great, but like, he's kind of a stash guy. Is it okay if he's your last on your bench? Yeah, I'll stick him on the injury list, whatever.
Yeah,
but
they got him. Said that he might not play week 1.
Yeah, so he could miss first 4 weeks depending. Sports hernias are no joke to repair from.
Yeah,
so
that sucks.
you can see about that. A little bit yellow. I would not say, man. I wouldn't say this is bottom. I think Danny's is the most concerned for injuries right off the gate. I think this is the second most concern. Partially because of history, partially because they already got a bunch of bumps and bruises. I don't really know if I want my depth in my bench to be bruised up already. You know, I need them to be healthy.
Yeah, he has stash guys, and if your starting guys don't start, he's gonna be in tough.
Yeah, so
tough
like
pickle.
if he gets banged up early in the season, it's gonna be a tough go until about week 6, 7. So it's just a risk, but again, you got to survive. You got to take the punches. So that's gonna be yeah, this will be a yellow flag. Not as yellow as Danny's, but so I'll give Danny the orange just because I gotta have one bad. Sorry, Danny. I'll give his kind of the orange just from like prevalent stuff. Butters gets the yellow just because if he had those same issues with his starters, I'd put it in the orange.
Yeah, exactly.
Column for sure, but because they're the bench guys, I'm not as concerned. It's just I hope your other guys don't go down type of thing. But
For real.
That's I think that's the squad.
That's the squad right there, all 10.
Are there anything in the chat that I could have answered that I didn't get to?
No, I kind of just was commenting on some of the
Drafts in general.
players.
Okay. Yeah, I think I'm gonna do pretty good. with my team.
Yeah.
think
Again,
I- I
I
think- I
really
think
think it's going to
I'm-
be healthiest team's going to win. So I'll have a lot of talking points to do.
Yeah, for real. Talk
Um,
about all the injuries every week.
Exactly.
Sheesh.
How big it's going to affect it. But
Yeah.
yeah, not. Hopefully we don't have too many injuries coming up. But,
No, just trade with me
yeah.
when I do. Okay.
Just a reminder, Painter Gain again. We're going to move to Tuesday.
Next Tuesday, and for
next week.
Tuesday.
Chips season 2 is going to start next week on Thursday.
Yep.
And then again, we'll have demos coming in. So send us your requests. Go to Instagram. Send us things you want us to do. If you're like, hey, I see this type of like workout. I don't know how to do it right. How to do it right, or what
yeah.
should we do?
And yeah, let us
Or
know.
I see you guys doing this. Why are they doing it? Are they doing it right? What's your point of doing it? Why would you do it? And then we can have some conversations about that.
Yeah,
But,
for sure. All right. Well,
Yeah,
I'm
man.
Timo.
I'm Dr. T. Thanks for joining us.
Painter Gain. Bam. Boom. Good thing you guys have a AC because holy shit, it's on.
Yeah.
Oh shit. Sorry, I did it.